everyone, welcome to another edition of Conference Carolina's Chats. We got a really fun one today that I've been looking forward to for a while, because we get to introduce you to the individuals that really, if I'm being honest, that make our office run. We have, they others may look at it as an internship, but it's more of like a practicum where they're teaching us as many things as we're teaching them. And today we have joining us is our conference officer, Nate Jones, and our external relations officer, Jordan Ashby. All right, kind of the same question to start for both of you, but we just kind of, as you're explaining how you got to where you are today, just tell us a little bit about you. We'll start with you, Nate.
Yeah, so most recently I came here from Virginia Commonwealth University. I was a grad student there. I was a grad assistant for the men's basketball team, and it was a one-year program, and it was a lot of fun. I got to work with the team every day and really be hands-on with them. So it was a cool experience to learn, some of the athletic administrative side of things. I played college basketball at Bucknell University, and I've been around basketball and college athletics my entire life because of my family. So to be on the other side of it, and not as a fan and not as a player has been a really cool experience. And I've really enjoyed my time at Conference Carolina so far. It's only been a few months, but it's been a really cool transition coming from being a student athlete and then a graduate student to last year and now being here.
And Jordan, obviously you've had a lot of unique experiences as well. Can you kind of tell us what led you here?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio. That's where I grew up. I was born in Charlotte, but we moved around a little bit. But I came from Wofford College, which is in Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is right down the road from where our conference office is now. I just graduated this past May, so I'm a COVID grad, so 2020. I was definitely stressful getting to the point of getting a job during the pandemic, but I was lucky enough to have the connections that I could have to get me to Conference Carolinas. I've worked with Wofford football for 2 years, and I enjoyed every single second of that. I did a lot of the social media and creative content for the Wofford football team, so it was a lot of fun. I also worked in the Wofford College admissions office. At first, I didn't do anything creative-wise. I was just working as a student worker and giving tours, and then I started taking on the role of doing the social media and helping do creative content and posting and doing the stories and everything like that.
Yeah, you both, and we're really lucky to have you. And you talk about had connections that led you here. You also won the interviews, and you got the opportunity to be working for Conference Carolinas, and you've more than shown over the last few months that you deserve that opportunity. But speaking of that opportunity, because a lot of people deserve opportunities, but it's what you do with those opportunities. Your opportunity came during a pandemic. So it's been a lot different. Nate, what have you learned over the last few months dealing with starting a new job, doing it virtually for the most part, but also, trying to get prepared for your future?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm thinking back to, the last spring when I was getting ready to finish up my classes and, everyone's kind of in that job scramble to find something out, it was kind of hectic. College athletics were kind of shutting down at the time. A lot of people were on hiring freezes. So I got really lucky to, find this opportunity. When I was interviewing, I talked with Jill first, and we found that we both were from Radford, of all places, which was an awesome connection. But, I was lucky enough to get the job. I started in August. And really from the beginning, it's been clear that, things right now are not normal at all. But it's been also very refreshing to work with you and the rest of the staff, and you guys have shown Jordan and I both, how to adapt, how to be able to think on your feet and adjust as things are constantly changing. Because in this climate that we're in right now, we're trying to predict really far ahead into the future, a couple months. But things are constantly changing, so we're always shifting, always just being adaptable, being able to really just communicate well with each other and with all the conferences in the school, all the schools in the conference, and really just be able to effectively work and continue to move forward, even though it's been a little difficult at times.
And speaking of adapting, Jordan, when you first got hired, you thought you were taking one role, and you still are in that role, but you also, because of things that were going on in the evolution around the pandemic, have taken on some different things that particularly working with the Associate Commissioner Kit Aline, with compliance and some different things like that. How have you adapted to that, but also being able to learn more that may progress you even better for the future?
Yeah, it was definitely a surprise when I found out that I was going to start doing more compliance side than creative, because that was not in my wheelhouse. But I'm very grateful for the opportunity because I basically got to learn something that I did not think that I was going to learn at first. So I've learned, I mean, the whole back end of just the groundwork of what a conference is and how to properly run a conference and how you delegate everything about going from meetings or just deciding, okay, how are we going to run this championship? So I'm excited for the spring, well, last part of the winter and then the spring, because then our championships in sports are going to start hopefully. But it's definitely been different because I thought I was going to start and have these sports and I was going to do all this fun stuff that I've been used to. And then it was like, okay, yeah, this is not normal. We're going to have to figure out something different for you to do so you can actually have something to do. But I'm happy to have both sides, doing creative and this compliance. It's definitely been a great experience and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah, and following up with that, I know you've helped with the esports championship. Both of you helped with the esports championship and different things going. What are kind of some of the things that have stuck out to you? And we'll talk more about one of those later. But what are kind of some of the things that have stuck out to you through your first few months that you kind of have shown what you can do?
Well, just talking about esports, always be on your toes because it can happen in a championship. So that was crazy. If you didn't watch the esports or keep up, it was very entertaining and eventful. But just the past couple of months, I've just really enjoyed learning what it's like to be a part of a team with all of you in the office and coming in, even though we see each other once a week, it's probably one of the best days of the week because we actually get to see each other, catch up, and have face-to-face interactions other than just an email here, text here, hey, can you do this real fast type of thing. I think because of having to spread from creative and compliance, I've definitely learned how to be flexible and be on my toes, even just like I said with the esports, because you have to be willing to, okay, somebody says, can you do this project or help me out with something? If Be sure to take on that project, do your best. But if you need help, ask for help if you don't know what you're doing. I definitely, especially going into compliance and asking Kit, I probably ask Kit 1,000 questions a day with email and everything. So it was definitely a change, but I loved learning it and it shows just my adaptability too.
Yeah, and you do, and I get some emails too, but we more communicate via text, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It really is, and I think you both use the word, and we've talked about it. Adaptability is important. That's not just during a pandemic year, but in general, it's incredibly important as you're progressing your career. Nate, you kind of mentioned it. You've been around basketball your whole life. Last year, you work for one of the best basketball programs in the country in VCU. And, how have you been able to take some of the things you learned from working maybe just with one team and take it and flesh it out a little bit working for a conference office?
I mean, one of the big things that we really talked about last year was approach, and it wasn't necessarily always about the staff or the coaches and everything, but the players. So what kind of attitude they bring into the day. So, do they know that every day when they show up, they're going to be able to work as hard as they can? Everyone else on the team is going to be working as hard as they can. They're going to be pushing you. And then from the coaching standpoint, are we going to be able to, take whatever is happening in our lives, everything, what else, class, family, whatever it is, and be able to leave that at the door when we come in so that we can, get what we need to get done. And so I think for me last year, it was just being able to get out of my comfort zone. I think so much of my time, I've often been in situations where I'm comfortable. I don't. But last year, I think I was forced out of that comfort zone. I had to speak up more. I had to, bring a ton of energy, be really enthusiastic with the guys. And it's just all about approach. And so I think moving forward in my career, I can. It's obviously not the same. I'm not going to be bringing all that enthusiasm into the office every day. But I can still approach my work and approach the day. And a certain way, and whether that's being positive or just having a genuine conversation with one of you guys to get the day started, and really just focusing on the work that I need to do, and doing the best that I can at it.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I love when you leave things on the whiteboard for us and like give us the coach speech and give us locker room speeches. No, I'm just kidding. But that definitely. I mean, but you're right. That kind of approach is something, and that's not just, and that's you learn from working for a basketball program, but that's the thing you can learn from working in athletics or being a college student athlete yourself, and that all those little things that just simple as this. Every little thing matters, right? Especially right now with everything that's going on during the pandemic. And, and just like you're talking about what you learned there, one of the things we like to do is to focus on those student athletes in Conference Carolinas. And Jordan, really, this has been her project. I mean, I've helped her get it started, but I just said have fun, not because I didn't want to be involved, but it's because I knew she would do a great job with it. And the Instagram takeovers have really been a huge success for us. With Conference Carolinas, and it's something that we're not reinventing the wheel, but at the same time, it's giving us a platform where we can showcase what those student athletes are doing. Jordan, can you kind of explain what that's been like, the process, and how great it's been to see the student athletes really take the reins and run with it?
Yeah, I love working with student athletes. That's always been my passion. So every day that I got to go to Wofford and play with, or not play, but like be with the football team at practices and everything, I loved being there, just being out there. So anytime I get to work with a student athlete, I'm excited. So this project has been great for me and I love it. So basically, I first started off, I contacted the SIDs of each institution and just asked, hey, can you send me a couple athletes that you have in mind that would be great for a student or athlete takeover on the conference platform, so they can show off their school, their team, their sport, and just themselves as a person and as a student, and show kind of what their day in a life of a student athlete is at that institution. So I got those names, I contacted those athletes, and then I just went from there. I arranged a schedule. And the ones that we've had so far, I've been so happy and excited about all of them. They've been so entertaining. Every Tuesday, I look forward to waking up and seeing, okay, what time did they post? Oh, one started at 5 in the morning. Wow. Okay. The hour was already up. I was only up at 7. Okay. Wow. They're already up. Okay. Let's see how their day goes. Okay. So they're still going. They got practice, lifts, everything. And then they have class. They still have time to be social too. So I love just watching what it's like to be a student athlete, and it gives them a great platform, like you said.
Yeah, could you definitely, nobody tells a story better than a student athlete themselves, because at the end of the day, that's what it's really about. And for those that have not seen them yet, make sure to follow at Comp Carolinas. That's at Comp Carolinas on Instagram. You can also follow at Comp Carolinas on Twitter, and then Conference Carolinas on Facebook. We got a few ways to follow us on social media. ConferenceCarolinas.com's got some things too. So there's many ways to keep up with all the unique things that are taking place. But I really do want to, give Jordan credit for the great job she's doing to help lead, because they're taking the lead, but you're putting them in the right position to do that. And that's what those takeovers are about. Nate, speaking of working with student athletes, one way that, you've been working with Assistant Commissioner Jill Weston particularly is with is with the SAC. And you've many different initiatives, to be honest, now that you're a few months in. What is it, like month 5, 6 for you? Y'all are veterans now, either way. But anyways, or that's what I'm gonna say. But as you're entering month 6, what are some of the things you've taken away from working with the SAC and just seeing the student athletes work together to have that voice?
I mean, we talk about it all the time, and it might be cliche, but I think the student athletes that we have in Conference Carolinas are really special. We talk about body, mind, and soul all the time, and I think our student athletes really exhibit these 3 things. And when I've been able to work with them, whether it's it's mostly been through Zoom calls or through emails and whatnot, but it's just been really awesome to be able to interact and talk with them, and to just hear about what their day-to-day is like Jordan's been saying with the takeovers, to be able to watch those and see what they're going through right now, because as we've mentioned, I graduated a couple of years ago, and I was a student athlete, but the times that we're in right now are truly unprecedented. So it's really interesting to watch how they're adapting to everything that's going on, and are still able to make the most of it. And so when we're doing something like the mentor program, where we're Jill and I are meeting with them once a month to, prep them for their monthly calls with their mentor. Just hearing how the calls are going, hearing, what's going on campus, because, we're kind of a little removed from the campus and the day-to-day grind that they're going through. So just being able to check in with them and kind of get like a touch point to just see what's going on, I think is really awesome, because they're really awesome and unique and special individuals.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, all of this, we're talking about student athletes, different things we're doing in the office, really one of the unique things is particularly with your positions is the latitude and the ability that Commissioner Colvin gives you and gives us to help to do the story and be part of the process is really special as we go through that. I really appreciate even thinking back to my own intern. I had the same opportunity when I worked with Southern Conference, but now Conference Carolina is Commissioner Colvin's doing the same thing for y'all, giving you an opportunity to really be in on all meetings to see things that the world doesn't necessarily get to see, but it's been really unique for you. And, kind of segue, a little bit away from that. As you think on those things, the opportunities you've been given and all that, what do you have a plan? What are those or is that plan still formulating now? What do those next 3 to 5 years look like for y'all? I'll start with you, Jordan.
Oh my goodness, sorry, with Nate. Let's see. Well, I think, first and foremost, I know God has a plan for me, and so I know He has the great guidance. So I'm pray about it every day, and I know I'm gonna follow Him, and He's got me. So, but hopefully, I would love to return back to Charlotte, North Carolina. That'd be honestly fantastic. I always thought that if I could, I would want to be an NFL photographer or NBA photographer. And so if I could work for like the Charlotte Hornets or the Carolina Panthers, that would be a dream come true. But as I've been working with Conference Carolinas and also working through a brewery at RJ Rockers and doing their social media, just for over a month and a half, I think now, but just helping all of these different programs, I've noticed that I kind of want to take on and keep creating my own brand and making it on a bigger platform, and then being able to, instead of just having people hire me, that they can hire my brand and have my own business that way. So that would be like, that's probably, like 10-year plan maybe, but 3 to 5 year we'll start on it. So
J Ash with the flash. That's
exactly. Flash. We'll put the little
I know I got to put it on
star
there.
right there. Yep.
But truthfully, that's it's true. Nate, speaking of the same things, has this been? Because I know last year you had the opportunity to see whether coaching may be the way you want to go, and maybe you do go there again later. But how has this prepared you to think about what those next steps may be for you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, last year I had the opportunity to be hands-on with the team, and through my classes, I kind of learned more about the administrative side, but I wasn't, as involved with that. But this year, I've really been able to take that on, and it's been really great to just like you said, sit in on meetings, be a part of all these different initiatives, and just be able to learn so much in such a short period of time. Because I mean, as we know, the spring is hopefully we're going to have everything going, and it's going to be really busy, but we're going to get a really great experience, and we're going to get a lot of hands-on experience just to be able to learn and just to be able to work. And I think that's what's really important. And I guess moving forward, I have a lot of goals, a lot of plans for things that I want to do. But I think so often in the past I've been, so tied to my sport that I haven't been able to fully take advantage of all of the opportunities that are out there, all the connections that you can build. And I think, this year, especially and last year as well, I've tried to continue to take advantage of those things, to take advantage of these opportunities. And then that's what I'm looking forward to doing the most the next couple of years, is just continuing to branch out, continuing to learn as much as I absolutely can, because at this point, there's still so much that I don't know, and so much, that I want to do. So I'm really looking forward to it, and, continuing to build connections with great people like both of you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it casually probably looked like I was joking when we started talking, but it's the truth. Y'all are teaching us as much as we're teaching you. Yes, we've been in the field longer, and I mean, I'm 40 now, so like, I just keep saying that because it still amazes me. But like, we've had some experiences, but that's what it is. It's experiences. But you've had some experiences that I haven't had, so it gives me the unique opportunity to learn from you all as well. And I can promise you, we are learning from you just as much as you're learning from us. And I'm going to put you both on the spot here. This last bit, you alluded to it earlier. Nate did particularly, and both you in different things you said. You alluded to it, but if you had to encapsulate why Conference Carolinas is so special to somebody, what would you say? We'll start with you, Nate.
I think, and Brian, we talked about this a little bit on Friday. But I really think it's just the people. Conference Carolinas, I mean, even, the conference staff has just from the very beginning just been unbelievable to work with and to learn from, and to just get to know on a personal level. Within the office and outside of it, just great, genuine people. And then as soon as I started working with, our different institutions and all the administrators and the student athletes, it's the same thing. There's a lot of great people. I'm getting to learn a lot from them, sitting in on meetings, emailing all these people. It's, I think what makes Conference Carolinas truly special is just the people. And it's been awesome so far in these first few months to learn from them and to meet and introduce myself to all these people, and just, continue to build these relationships and this network.
You're exactly right. And Jordan, when you think about it, I mean, a lot of it's going to be the same that he just said, but, when you think about it, what kind of stands out to you about your time so far?
Honestly, I mean, just like Nate said, it's the connections, but really this conference, it says it in our slogan, the body, mind, and soul. We have that emphasis. And I have not really been around a conference that had that type of purpose and a message that they wanted to put out there besides, okay, we're a conference, we're going to go out, we're going to win, like we want to be the best, So just that right off the bat was something that drew me into the conference and wanting to be working with Conference Carolinas. But like Nate said, just the connections I've made and the people that I get to work with, the conference staff is amazing. I really felt welcome just from my first day, and I was excited to take on this new job, and I was excited to start working with you all. And then once we started working with the institutions and talking to the ADs and just sitting in on the meetings, it's the way we talk in the meeting and how everybody is so focused on the student athlete and wanting them to have the best experience possible, but still having our motto, the body, mind, and soul. So that's something that I just love taking part of each and every day when we work.
Y'all both really, like I said, we're learning from you, and you're learning as well, and you're getting to see. You just said the same thing that we always say, which is special to hear that you've been here right around 6 months, and been thinking about Conference Carolinas for just over 6 months as you started the process, and it's really special to hear you all say that, and which is why I wanted to have you on, because I know you could help to articulate the story, and people could also learn a little bit more about you and what you all are doing, and we really appreciate you helping us to lead the way. And we'll see everyone next time on Conference Carolinas Chats.